This video blog doesn't deserve its usual introduction because I'm just upset. And do you know why? Because I just recently saw what may be the most misleading representation of the Alice in Wonderland stories that I've ever seen put to celluloid. I mean, the original Alice stories by Lewis Carroll may not be my favorite, but they have such imaginative scenarios and are full of wit and charm that makes them especially timeless. Now, I can understand that with these stories, they have such whimsical fantasy and imagination that you could adapt them into just about any way you want to. But if you're not going to at least capture the pure essence and spirit of the books, something would tell me you're not doing it right. Disney was at least able to get much of it right in their animated version from 1951, but in their most recent live-action versions? I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the story. It begins with Alice, played by Mia Wasikowska, having just returned from a 3-year voyage out at sea. She's a sea captain in this version. A blue butterfly named Absalom informs Alice that there is trouble in Underland. Not Wonderland, mind you. Upon entering a mirror and returning to Underland, Alice's old friends inform her that the Mad Hatter, played by Johnny Depp, is acting much more mad than usual, for he is convinced that his family is still alive. The White Queen, played by Anne Hathaway, tells Alice that the only way to save him is to convince a being known as Time, played by Sacha Baron Cohen, to borrow the Chronosphere, which is a time-traveling machine, and travel back in time to find out what happened to the Mad Hatter's family and try to set things right. Come to think of it, with a story treatment like that, Lewis Carroll must be spinning pretty heavily in his grave. Now, I didn't like the treatment from the first one in 2010 directed by Tim Burton, and I didn't like the treatment here either. The 1951 animated version at least was able to offer such enchantment and emotional charm that would enrapture audiences and would make them want to venture into its world. Here, not as much. I mean, granted, the visual effects are impressive and very well done, but they just aren't enough to compensate for the poor storytelling and extreme lack of development. In fact, it doesn't even give some of the characters like the Dormouse, the March Hare, the White Rabbit, the Cheshire Cat, or Tweedledee and Tweedledum much to do in the main plot. For the most part, they're just off on the sidelines just observing it all. The only reason I believe that this sequel exists is because the first one made over $1 billion worldwide at the box office. And the producers probably thought that with these results, we, the paying audience, wanted more out of it. But was the investment into this sequel really worth it? In this critic's opinion, no. So do yourselves a favor and consider skipping out on it. It's just not worth the time and money to sit through, and you're not really missing out on it much, really. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give this film 4.5. This is Renton Whitetail signing off and saying, this movie can suck it.